episode of the G.O.A.T Gravy, the ultimate podcast tailored for young professionals navigating the dynamic world of sales and sales leadership. And today, we have an exciting guest with a fascinating background in the world of sports marketing and business entrepreneurship. He's a coach at heart, raising two incredible boys with many academic and athletic accomplishments. He's got a fabulous wife, Lori, and he himself played some football for Notre Dame. We'll get into that. But most importantly, we're going to hear all about and discuss three things Ryan is extremely passionate about: gratitude, habits, and coaching. Please welcome Ryan McSpadden.
Rhino!
Thank you for having
Rhino.
me. Excited to be here.
Good to
Dynamite.
see you.
Excited to be here.
Thanks for coming, brother.
It's good to see you boys.
In studio.
In studio, not by a fire pit.
Are you
not
surprised
on a
with the
golf course.
setup?
It looks awesome.
It's a little different.
It looks really good.
Not bad.
Looks really
This
good.
used to be the laundry room.
Really impressive.
Yeah, I like that bed right there. It's a good look.
We're
Call
going
that a trundle
places.
bed.
We're going places
Trundle.
right now. Hey, this guy has got a really fascinating background. We're going to get into that in a second. But one memory I just have to share out of the gate is we all had a really cool Tough Mudder experience. Was this maybe over a decade ago? Close to. And Ryan was kind of our quasi-captain, leading the way, charging us all downhill. It was a blast. And then he had a terrible hamstring injury. Was it hamstring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cramp.
Too much.
But he rebounded. We finished. I'm not sure we won.
We
but
didn't.
We
We
finish.
definitely did not win.
And we all
finished,
got shocked.
But we are winners.
We're winners.
We were winners in our own way.
Totally.
Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome.
Well, dude, it's great to have you. Let's just kick it off with learning a little bit about your journey, your career journey, and maybe walk us through how you ended up in the world of sports marketing.
Sure. So graduated from Baker University in Kansas in 1993. Went there to play golf and basketball. Graduated and thought I was going to go play pro golf. My roommate went on the Hooters tour at the time, which was one of the mini tours down in Texas. Spent the summer playing, averaged a 75, never made a cut, and called me and said, "We're not good enough to play pro golf." And I'm like, "You're right, I need to get a job." So started interviewing.
Rhino, you're only 10 strokes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Not bad.
Exactly.
Not bad.
So started interviewed with an aviation company, got an offer for $45,000, and I was one day away from taking it.
Wow.
And a guy named Russ Klein, who owned a company called United Sports, called my dad and said, "Has Ryan taken a job yet?" And he's like, "He's about to take it tomorrow." And he goes, "Have him come into the office and meet Tim Murray, our general manager." So I went in and they offered me the same day $18,000 to come work for them in sports marketing. And I was a savvy negotiator and got him up to 21.
Whoa.
Nice.
And started there in November 15th of 93 and worked there for 23 years.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And that went through several iterations. I've been in the air show business, the bull riding business, the monster truck business, the supercross business, the X Games business, the golf business, the motocross industry. It's been a heck of a run, and was with those guys in one way, shape, or form for 23 years.
So Ryan, just out of curiosity, going half the salary of what you were offered, what was it that you saw in that sports opportunity? Was it just because of what you'd be doing in the space, or what was it that said, "I'm going to take half the amount, but I can link my career to this Murray guy"?
The other job was selling electric connectors in airplanes.
Be
And I
tough.
just thought,
Not as exciting.
that doesn't sound like something I want to do with my life every single day. But
Yeah.
to be in sports
Yeah.
sounded really exciting, and it was a great start. It was tough to get into. I started actually in operations, and I was out producing shows and calling shows and being on the floor and doing show schedules and being the first one there and the last one out. And after a year, they were like, "Yeah, you're not great at that. Why don't we put you into sponsorship sales?" And gave me a legal pad and a phone book and a phone and said, "Start calling, start making calls,
Love it.
start making cold calls." And it was the scariest thing ever, because I was in the pit and everybody had offices around me and everybody could hear everything I was saying. And I was probably super
Were you
horrible.
really the only one doing that at the time too, or is there a team of people
There was
doing it?
one boss,
Okay.
and then I was the lone sales rep.
Yeah.
So
Now, I've been lucky enough to spend a little time with your dad, and he was a sales guy.
yeah,
Right.
total sales guy.
So before, whether it was sports or selling electrical equipment, Did you know when you graduated? Because a lot of our listeners are kind of thinking, I may want to do sales. I think I got it in me to do sales. And it seems like that's where you gravitated to. Was it because of your dad?
Well, my grandpa was a paper salesman.
Yeah.
And was really good at it. My dad followed in his footsteps and was in paper sales. But my dad worked his way up to leading divisions and running big regions and things like that. But at his heart, he's a sales guy.
Yeah.
And I saw the way he acted, and I saw the way he worked, and I saw the way he treated people. So he was probably my first look at sales and mentor and what it took to be a really great leader.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if I wanted, I think I wanted to go into sports more than I wanted to go into sales.
Okay.
But if that was my entry
Right.
into the industry, then I was going to take it.
But how special to be able to be in an industry you're passionate about.
Oh my gosh.
And then learn as you're there. So obviously there had to be some pretty early adversities you faced with the phone book and just powering through calls. Walk us through some of those early experiences and how did you ultimately find your way to your first couple of successes?
When I started in the operations side of the business, I wasn't good at it because I really didn't enjoy that part of it. I mean, I was literally in Knoxville, Tennessee, producing monster truck shows on the floor, calling the events. And it was a great start, but I wanted something more. I'm like, did I really just go to school for 4 years to come call monster truck shows? So when I got into the sales side of the business, I said, they're not giving me a sales goal. I'm going to set a sales goal. So my first year, my goal was to sell 125 grand in sponsorship sales. And my boss gave me all the markets we'd never got any money in. We had never sold anything in before.
Oh.
So he kept all the good markets, of course.
Of course.
So he could get commission.
And lo
and behold.
Sounds like how Scotty runs his playbook.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I did 145 grand.
Nice.
And then I was kind of on my way. And then 2 years later, he left. And at 26, 27, they promoted me to the head of the group.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So for a very early age, I was super fortunate to do pretty well and then get promoted and lead the group. And it just kept going from there.
And Ryan, you stayed there so long. And often we see people early in their career jump around quite a bit in the beginning. They're getting a feel for different experiences.
Yeah.
What kept you there so long? And were there not, it doesn't feel like there's as many opportunities in your world as maybe we see in medical device or software. But what was it that really held you there for so long?
I think one, my boss was amazing. A guy named Tim Murray, I worked for him for 23 years. Wow, I never reported to anybody else other than him. And so he was amazing and a great boss. I kept progressing professionally, so I kept moving my way up the ladder. And I was making some pretty decent money. So I started working my way up financially. So you package all those three in together, and then you're in an industry in a industry that you love, and it just made for a really good run.
Yeah,
really good run.
What about? Because a lot of the advice that I give people on if they're going to make a move, whether it's the first job, their third job, their last job, it is who they're working for, right? And you get that feel. Either you trust the person or you don't, but you got to do a lot of diligence there. So you interviewed with Murray.
Yeah.
Making half the money.
Uh-huh.
And you were with him for 23 years. Did you realize how important that decision was to go with someone that you trusted in Murray, or was it just luck?
We hit it off
right
away. So there's a funny backstory there, though. When my mom and dad, my parents had me when my mom was 18, my dad was 19. And my dad couldn't afford, he was in paper sales, he had just started, so he couldn't really afford. So he got a job as a waiter at night, working 3 days a week to help pay the bills when I was a young baby. And the restaurant that he worked in, Tim Murray was a busboy.
Oh, wow.
So he'd always looked up to my dad. And so when I went in there, he's like, you're not going to believe this. I worked with your dad for many years, and I always looked up to him. I always looked up to your dad. So
that's a connection.
That's really cool.
We had this really instant connection, and I talked to him yesterday. I mean, we are still super, super duper tight.
Yeah. Is he still in the business?
He is. He has his own gig now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And in the pre-call, we're saying, what are you passionate about? What motivates you as a sales leader, as a salesperson at heart, just as a leader in general? And you talked about gratitude. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our listeners, I think, hear that term and maybe it means different things to different people. But why is that so important to you? And how do you think about gratitude on a daily basis? How does it, play a part in your everyday life?
I just think it's a really great life philosophy and theme to live with that every single day. I think it's a game-changing life mentality that if you can live that way, at least speaking for myself, it's changed me in a lot of ways. And every morning I have this like anywhere from 2 to 3 hour routine where I do exercise and recovery, and then I have a 30-minute gratitude session every morning. And I've been doing that for about 3 years. And I write down every single day 5 things that I'm super grateful for. I actually wrote you 2 down this morning.
Wow,
Hey,
you made
we
the
made-
list.
Yeah, you made the list.
All right,
I know
thank
I
made
should
the
have made the
list.
list, but Billy, how did he make the list?
Well, I said Scott, then Billy.
Then Billy. Okay,
Yeah.
you were second.
Why
Yeah,
are
you
you
were
always first? Because you're older, that's why.
And so I do that every single morning for 30 minutes, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm at home, whether I'm in an airport, it doesn't matter where. And it's changed my life. I used to live with a lot of worry and anxiety and being anxious. And like when you practice gratitude, I just think it just changes your outlook on the day. It changes your outlook.
There's
on
no
life.
doubt.
And do you reach out? Just want to press on that 2 seconds, Billy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned writing things down.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like Lotta, we've had on the podcast, she sent me a note recently and just saying, hey, super thankful for you being in my life. And that was it. It was just simple text. So is it something that you write down, or is it something that you put in action, or is it a combination?
Both.
Yeah.
So I practice it. And then every week, Sunday night, I write 5 notes of gratitude
Okay.
and send those out. So
You mail them out
That's
or
great.
email or
No, I mail them handwritten.
tight.
So 250 to 300 a year.
And it's legit. He left me a little message in the mailbox
love
a
it.
week ago.
I love it.
And Rhino's getting ready to move to Colorado, new journey. And he left a really nice note and very meaningful from the heart. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
of
But dude,
course.
you practice what you preach, which
Yeah,
I
of
love.
course.
I think this gratitude point is so important. I'm equally passionate about that.
Yeah.
I'm a faith guy. I think it's for me every day in my routine when I'm not traveling. I try to work it in when I'm traveling, but having that quiet time in the morning. And so I always do gratitude and just prayers and like the things that matter.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, when I consistently do that, I just show up different. I just show up more relaxed, more calm. I handle stressful situations so much better. But I also think it helps keep things in perspective. And we talk about that all the time. You watch the news in 5 minutes, it's very depressing.
Yeah.
But looking at the little things, just having gratitude that you've got a hot shower, you've got a meal, or it's simple things.
That you woke up.
Yeah. And I think it's
That
as
you're healthy.
leaders,
Yeah.
it's even more important to take that time. I just think it's intentional leadership, but there's so many people in an organization that are doing goodness every day, not getting caught up in the busyness of the day, but slowing down and reaching out to random people just to say, hey, thank you for what you do every day and showing up and having gratitude for your team. Like that's a huge one too.
And I've taken it to the next level too. So there's 24 on my team now, I think at the APP. Every Wednesday we have our weekly huddle at 11 o'clock. We start the meeting with gratitude. Every person has to go around and say something that they're grateful for that
Right
day.
on.
That's awesome.
Now it takes 15 minutes to go through it because we've got so many people on the team.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
okay.
I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. We just got to be more prepared for the last 15.
Yeah.
So
There was a Thanksgiving. That's something that Christy, my wife, who's tight with Lori, Ryan's wife, and Billy's wife, Nedra, I was in Rockford for the first time, and Thanksgiving, you go around the table. What are you thankful for? So Hazen says something, my brother-in-law,
Probably pretty profound too.
Notre
He's a
Dame
smart
guy, perfect, rehearsed. It's like he rehearsed it for a week. And it comes to me, my turn. I'm like so nervous. I said, I'm thankful for the food. And Corky, Christy's dad, looks at me like, who is this clown?
Right.
And why on earth is he thankful for the food? What about the people? Things like that. So I love it. I think for our listeners out there, I think, yes, gratitude, if that moves you, do it. And I think it's an amazing time to spend time just kind of high level. What are you thankful for sure, especially in retrospect to most everyone else out there. But I think the other thing, Billy, that Ryan's keying in on is the routine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
you're a routine guy,
Oh my God.
right? And you're. Can you give us a, just kind of go a little bit deeper into that? Because I think for our younger viewers and listeners out there, they're probably not in a routine.
Yeah.
Right. They're coming out of college. They get their first job. They're in the city. They're dating. There's a lot going on. They want to make money. They're just not mature enough. And some of them are, but most of them aren't, in my opinion.
Yep.
What's the value of routine and how should they think about routine?
I don't think he should be insulting the audience, but that's okay. We'll just let's let you.
But I
answer.
was
We'll come
honest. I
back to
said
that.
some of them are.
Yeah.
But most of them
Yeah.
aren't.
No, I got it.
I mean, it's taken me 50 some years to figure this out,
Yeah.
but I've got a pretty good solid routine that I try to live by. It's kind of like 3/8, in the first 3 hours of the morning, I start off, I wake up, I have a huge glass of water to start. I go down, I exercise, I do recovery and sauna cold tub. I do my gratitude. I have a power shake. I get cleaned up and I'm ready to go for my day at 8:15.
What time does the alarm go off?
Today was 4:15. Most days it's 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 to 8 is
Because you need that time.
because I'm working on myself, and then from 8 to 5 or 6, I'm working on my business and I'm working on my people and I'm working on my profession. And then the next 5, I'm working on my family and my health and my mental and relaxing and all those type of things. So I kind of bucket into 3/8, 8 of sleep, 8 of my family and myself, and 8 to 10 in my work. And so it's working well for me. I feel better than I ever have. I'm doing better than I ever have professionally and personally in my relationships.
Can you give us an example or two of maybe something that has significantly changed since you've started doing this routine and diving in versus previous? Is there anything that stands out?
There's just something for me that structure, just having a structure. And, some people don't need structure. I just need structure. And I have 9 habits every day that I know if I can check these off every single day, then I'm living my best life. Yeah. And so those are the ones I'm kind of focused on.
Yeah, you said something when we were prepping for this that I thought was really, really pretty profound in terms of you have goals,
Totally.
but goals are not as important to you as habits.
Yeah.
And you've kind of changed that mindset. So talk to us a little bit about the habit versus goal mentality.
Yeah, I've been a big goal setter since I was a little kid. My dad, when my parents got divorced, my dad moved to Lawrence, Kansas. My mom lived in Blue Springs, Missouri. That's an hour and 10-minute drive. And so my dad would have all these cassette tapes in, Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley and all these guys. And so I'd get all this positive affirmation about goal setting and writing them down and putting dates on them and making them smart and blah, blah, blah. So I've been doing that my whole life. But what are the habits that you need to create on a daily basis to get to those goals? And so I've been really thinking about that a ton for about 5 years. And then I got this planner system that I've been working through and working on, and I'm trying to develop my own and take the best of a couple and develop my own. But I've just found that if I can do these 9 habits, then I'm going to hit my goals.
Yeah.
And they feed into those goals. And I still set goals. I still study them every morning. I still look through them. But I know that if these 9 habits I'm hitting on a daily basis, I'm hitting these things.
Now, are those goals and habits personal and professional combination?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Billy, I know that Ryan sets goals. You know how I know?
How do you know?
He was nice enough to let Chrissy and I stay at their house. This is way back in the day.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on. We were getting work done at the house. You guys were on vacation or something. So I get up and I see a note, and it was one of your goals. I'm like, Christy, this guy's not messing around. He's not one of these guys that puts it in a notebook. He actually, I think it was in your closet.
I think you told me how organized. It was the most organized closet you've ever seen in your life, too, if I remember this.
And
I
one
thought
of
it was
the
weird
goals-
he was poking around your closet.
Yeah,
But,
that's all right.
Where am I supposed to walk?
I mean, maybe stay out of the closet.
And one of the goals was keep closet organized. No, that's not true. But I didn't dig in too much of the goals. But you actually don't only set them. You actually put them places in the house where you actually
Totally.
Reminders.
That's next level.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So let's get into those habits.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of poke in, because I think our audience would benefit from those. And however you want to, maybe you want to highlight a couple that are most important. First of all, how did you grab them? Is that over time and these are yours? These aren't from a book?
No,
from Zig?
These are mine. No, these are
aren't
mine.
Zig's habits.
And I would say they've morphed over the last 5 years, but I've honed in on these 9. Mm-hmm. And I'll just go through them real quick. The first one, is sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to average 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, 90% of the days.
Yep.
So 26 out of 27 out of the days of the month, I'm trying to get 7 8 hours sleep. I think our dads thought if you slept a lot, you were lazy. I think our generation's learning it's like a superpower.
Sure.
If you're not getting rest and sleep,
yep.
you're
and you're tracking that through.
Track it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first one. Second's exercise. I mean, I just want to exercise every day and got a really good routine. I lift a couple days a week. I do yoga a couple days a week. I do cardio a couple days a week, and I stretch 1 day a week.
Right on.
So that's I've got really
no pickleball.
That's bonus exercise.
Okay, bonus exercise. Got it.
Yeah,
we'll get into why that matters soon.
Exactly. And then 3, I've gotten real into recovery. So the sauna, the cold plunge, the inversion table, taking care of the body, stretching it out, reducing inflammation. So I'm super into the recovery thing. So a typical morning for me is 30-minute sauna, 3-minute cold plunge, 20-minute sauna, 2-minute cold plunge.
Nice.
Every single morning. Well, not every single morning because I travel some, but so that's my recovery. 4th is gratitude. Got to do that every single day. And I do 5 things on that every single day. 6 is supplementation. So I try to take, really good vitamins, good multivitamins. I take magnesium before bed, try to get the right protein powders, etc. So supplementation. 6 is growth. So 10 to 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day. I want to read something. I want to listen to something. I want to study something. I want to, listen to a podcast, something like that. So I try to hit that every single day. And then the last 3 I term as kind of your health journey. 7 is fueling nutrition. So I think you're either fueling your body or you're failing it. So I try to fuel it every day. So I check that. 8 is hydration, trying to drink a lot of water. And then 9, right before bed, writing down 3 daily wins. So I'm going to bed with a really great mindset of things I accomplished during the day.
Yeah, that's great.
So
you need to write a book on that.
I'm thinking about it. Well, I want to develop this planner.
Further?
Yeah, I'm taking this to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. I use something actually I got from Dimitri, who helped us start this podcast called RPMs. Similar mindset, but it's really it's relationships. It's physical, mental, spiritual, kind of how you're showing up in those categories. And just always, whenever I talk to him, for example, sometimes Scotty, kind of just rattle through those of how you're doing in those different buckets. Awesome. But every day trying to do something that's going to positively impact one of those categories.
That's awesome.
Man, I just think that's so awesome that you commit to that, you stick with it, and you're also teaching your boys some really good habits as they start to progress through college and in their career here soon.
That's awesome.
Have you seen them you picked up on some things from your dad? Have you seen your boys pick up on things from you? Because I know in my personal life, it's all over the place. So whether they pick up on it or whether they're complete opposite.
Good habits and bad for both of us.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you see any of those 9 that your kids have dialed into subtly and maybe not married, or just curious? And maybe you haven't ever thought of it.
I mean, I kind of, when I'm with them, sometimes I'll force them on I'll force the gratitude stuff on them, to just pop it out in the car. Like, hey, give me 3 things you're thankful for.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I'm not sure. That's a good question. I got to think about that.
Yeah. I love your read, listen, study, growth. I was at a dinner last night and there's so much talk about AI. It's like everyone's talking about AI. I'm sure they're talking about it in your business. And we sell AI as part of our solutions. And the subtlety of, we had someone come in and say, as a leader of a team, what are one of his techniques is he goes around the room, kind of like what you do for you're grateful. Mm-hmm. Give me once a week, he's picking out one area of AI that you personally, whether it's at home or at business, are using. Because the philosophy there, which I think is cool, because AI is such a component of sports, medical sales, technology, that if you're not talking about it and using it in your own life, you can't talk to customers about it. you can't, so it's even
Right.
little things like, maybe I'm doing a report. This guy's using this one example he gave. He's using AI to track the grocery list
Okay.
and to write a program to integrate into Instacart, all leveraging AI to automate that process. Pretty cool. So I just love the read, listen,
Yeah.
study piece.
Yeah.
And how do you pick the topics on the read, listen, study? Like, what does that look like?
Just kind of how I'm feeling. Like if I have, obviously you guys have a great library of books. I do too. I'll grab one of those, and my 30 minutes of read usually is my first sauna session. Mm-hmm. So I've installed a light in there, and so I'll read for 30, and then the last 20 I just kind of chill in the sauna. This morning I listened to an hour and a half of podcast because I was in the city. I did Mel Robbins this morning and Tony Robbins on the way home. So even if I'm not totally paying attention to it and my mind's wandering, or I pick up a call here and there, I just think putting that into your mind each and every day is really amazing for you. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Out of that exercise, do you have any favorite go-to books? Any go-to podcasts? Like
Besides
who are the
Goat's Gravy, right, Billy?
Yeah, of course. That's always on the list.
Number one's Goat's Gravy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ben Rogan.
Listener 5.
Lewis Howes, have you guys listened to him at all? Huge fan of him.
Check him out.
School of Greatness, really good. He has a daily, 5 to 7 minute clip that you can listen to, and then he's got long form. I'm a huge Robin Sharma fan. Have you heard of Robin Sharma?
I have.
Okay. The monk who sold his Ferrari, the wealth money can't buy. He's got some really great stuff. Heard him speak a couple times live and just became a huge fan of his. He's got 7 or 8 books out there that are pretty amazing. So I'm a huge fan of his. Tony Robbins today, it was great to listen to him again this morning or this afternoon. He's so good. So those are kind of 3. And then Mel Robbins. I mean, I know that's a little bit more geared towards a female audience, but she just has some amazing guests and podcasts. And today's she had Judge Joe Caprio on, America's nicest judge, who died 2 weeks ago. And she had him on 2 months ago, and he just talked about kindness and empathy and making kindness your key value, because he was known to be very, very lenient on people that were struggling in life. And so it was really
There's a lot of cool videos of him.
Yeah, he's a social media star, apparently. Yeah.
The sales piece, Rhino, a lot of these folks that are listening are either in sales or they want to get in sales. And I've had some conversations with you that you've taught me some things. Maybe you didn't even know it, just talking about a situation. And one of the things that comes to mind is you were talking about a candidate, they just weren't catching on. And you were like, man, you're either driving the bus or you're a passenger. I love that. It is a super simple concept, but it just really hit me as far as how I can coach. So as we kind of move into the coaching session, what are some of the things that some of the sales folks that you see are struggling early on? What do you notice about what they're doing? And how do you coach them to get the improvement rolling? I'm just trying to connect with some people as they either start their journey in sales or they're maybe in the first couple segments of the journey.
Yeah, I know you guys talk about it this way too. I think journey it's a lot of art and it's a lot of science. Yeah. And as I teach young salespeople, and we have a lot of young salespeople in our organization right now, every day you got to be consistent to purpose, and you've got to get the calls out, and you got to get the letters out, and you got to get the emails out, and you got to, because if you get behind a week, you're in trouble. You can't. It's really hard to catch up if you get behind a week. So you got to be consistent to the science, consistent to purpose, and stay on task each and every week. If not, you get behind, and it's really, really tough to catch up, because this is a numbers game. At the end of the day, we could all buy. If you buy 10 lottery tickets and you buy 20 and I buy 100, you still may win. Yeah. But I got a much better chance of winning. And so we talk a lot about that. And then the art of sales is you got to get a lot of at-bats. You got to get a lot of experience. So put yourself out there. 2, you need a great mentor, someone that you can role model. I always tell our people, copy brilliance instead of inventing your own mediocrity. We have some amazing salespeople at our organization. And I'm like, do what they're doing and you'll probably get the similar results. Don't go invent your own system. Kind of do what they're doing, but put your spin on it. And then third, I just think you got to be an unbelievable listener to be an unbelievable salesperson. And I believe most people think in their first sales job, they got to be a really good talker.
Sure.
And a really good speech maker and really good public speaker.
That's why Billy's the best.
You got to be a great freaking listener.
One of my first sales calls ever to a physician, I was pitching a certain product and he's like, I got no interest. I'm like, okay, what about this? What about this? I just kept pulling stuff out of the bag. It's like his carrot top. Like, dude, shut up.
Who wants a medical device?
Oh man. Anyways.
Billy, I did the same thing. When I was at UPS. We were kind of taught the art of asking great questions. Mm-hmm. And I hammered this dude with 50 in a row. And he finally was like, are you done with your I pissed him off. Are you done with your questions?
And you're like, no, I got 5 more.
I'm just getting warmed up. But Billy, here's what I love about this. Just drawing connections. I was working with my son, Caden, on how do you go from intern to full-time job? And I try to preach to him, you start doing the job before you get it. He's like, well, what do you mean? I go, here's what I mean. I said, he's coming off some great internships and things look really good going in that direction, but there's no guarantees in life until you get the offer, right? Until you sign that 20K offer or 21, you didn't have a job.
Right.
So I was, Caden, it's such a sales move. It's a 3-pronged plan of X, Y, and Z. Start doing the job before you get it. And that was what I was trying to show him. Before you get the sales job, you're actually doing a sales job by attacking that plan to get a job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drill that in his head.
Yeah.
And as I listen to you, right, your consistency about what you're doing with your habits and how you're bringing that into work and how you're preaching, like you're doing the job in the morning before you go to that job. Is that purposeful or is that just a correlation?
Super great coincidence. Yeah. No, I think it's a great point. I didn't think of it that way, and I haven't thought of it that way. But like, consistency wins the day, right? Mm-hmm. Just sometimes just showing up every single day and staying on task and staying on your why. Those are the people that I think make the biggest difference. It doesn't have to be a big splash.
No, sure. It's muscle memory of doing the basic fundamentals. Like it's the habits. It's helping them focus on these are the habits that if you do these consistently day in and day out, ultimately are going to lead to positive results.
Totally.
And so I love that. I think that's a great analogy too for someone that's trying to get into the sales world in a way that's your tryout, right? Mm-hmm. If you're doing the preparation before those interviews, you're consistently reaching out, you have the interview, you're following up, you're making deposits, that is the game. So I think the more you can focus on doing those consistent things.
Yep.
You're just going to be naturally.
And I think I love how Rhino's more from plan to the habits. That's really cool. But a lot of the sales folks that are early in career that I talk to, hey, Mr. Atwater, I'm old. Please call me Scott. Once we get over that, it's all right. What do you want to talk about? Well, I'm trying to get into tech or I'm trying to do this. Okay. And my question always, what does your plan look like? And most of them are flat footed.
Right.
And it's in my head. I'll go, okay, cool. Talk me through it. And then where I steer them, and I don't know, maybe this is a mentoring question for you, Rhino, and how you spend time mentoring younger and career people. I steer them into asking them to take ownership of the plan. And we design it together. It's not a trick question. Mm-hmm. And then we, like with my son, here's the plan that I think you should go back to every single week. And I'll talk to you every Wednesday until we go execute that plan. Dad, don't you think it's early? Like I don't graduate until spring. I go, how many people don't have jobs right now that have graduated college because they thought they had plenty of time? Start doing the job before you get it.
Yeah.
So as you mentor younger and career people, anything that sticks out where you really drive them towards? I know every conversation is a little different.
Yeah. I think in our community, we're so blessed with so many talented people in so many different fields and so many areas. The mentoring I've been doing is really around using your network, your network and your people. But if you're going to use it, you got to be prepared You got to be better than everybody else. You got to be studied. You got to understand the company. You got to understand what they do. So I've been really encouraging our young people to use this. I mean, we have such an opportunity here to use an amazing network, but you got to have all those things. You got to be prepared. You got to have a plan. And you guys are unbelievable mentors. You've done way more of it than I have. So you probably have a lot better answers. What are some of the things that you've been doing, Billy, in the mentorship area?
For me, it's more of, we get a lot of sales mentorship. Obviously we talk to a lot of people in our organizations and outside of that, but I think we're at that age now as we have friends that have kids going to school. I mean, like your boys, I'd say for like even your two sons, being able to get involved with them at church, right? They're helping run small groups and getting really involved with church. And so that was an opportunity to start mentoring there. And then as they go to college and they're asking questions, I think there's so many opportunities just between our kids and their friends, and people we work with. It's the network, but similar to what Scott said, if people are willing, if they're reaching out to me, then I'm going to give them my time. I'm going to find time with them. I have coffee almost every Saturday with somebody.
Do you?
I feel like it's pretty consistent when we're in town or we're not traveling or whatever, but I'm so, I love sitting down and just hearing about what they want to do and letting them kind of walk through everything. And then we'll have these sessions where we'll talk about, I'll give some advice, but then getting the boomerang, getting the follow-up, that's the most important piece. And we've talked about this many times on this show. The people that reach out to you and then don't follow up, or they're not consistent, or you maybe have that one conversation, you never hear from them again. That's okay. It's going to happen. But man, there's a few individuals I talk to. I probably have 8 to 10 people right now that I'm consistently talking to every month. PK is one of those. And we talk to PK all the time. I mean, he is one of the most motivated dudes I've ever met. 21 years old, 22 years old, and he's calling, a couple times a week to practice sales pitches and to role play.
Wow.
And putting himself out there, and he just wants to stay uncomfortable, right? And so I love that. And then I'll share his story with some of the other people I'm working with, and I've also connected PK to other people that are asking me for advice. I'm like, talk to this guy because he's doing it right now in real time.
Nice.
So that's the other part of mentorship, is connecting people. I think sometimes just hearing from me gets a little old if I've talked to someone for a while. So then connecting them to Scotty or somebody else is also a good thing to do. But
go ahead, Reno.
I was just say something I did in my 20s too that I also guide people on. I joined Toastmasters when I was 22, 23, 24, and that's like a 3-year program to become a certified. But man, that makes you uncomfortable. You have to give all different kinds of speeches in front of people, and it was 6 o'clock to 7:30 every morning at a hotel lobby on Friday mornings, and the last thing I'd want to do is get up and go to that. But you do that. I saw you have How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've taken every Dale Carnegie class, and I've taught every Dale Carnegie class in my 20s. And so nobody paid for that for me. I didn't make any money, but I paid for him and got in with the guy, and he's finally started doing I'll give you scholarships. If you come back and help train, I'll let you take the classes. And so I encourage people, get outside your comfort zone, outside the office too, and get involved in these things because they make a huge freaking difference.
Yeah. And any of the suburb kids, Billy, sorry to interrupt. We say this on nearly every podcast when we talked about mentors. It's those around, we're lucky. Back to the gratitude piece, Rhino. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to there for a second. Our kids, if they're being honest, and they write down what they should be thankful for, and again, this is coming from a dad, so it's a little unfair, is you got people around you that care and love you and will take the time to spend with you. Not everyone has that, right? I didn't have that necessarily based on how I grew up. We were fine, but it wasn't, a lot of these kids aspire to get in the professional world. That's what we do. I mean, look at our neighborhood. Right. It's loaded with people. With us three that if someone comes to me, I never not take the call.
Yep.
I do know some people that I work with or that I've run across in past jobs that won't take the call. They're just too busy. Right. And that's fine. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, but that's the lesson learned. And go to AI as they're preparing to sit with you, Ryan. Isn't it cool that someone knows a little something about you? Right. And back to the AI piece, as you go in and you train AI, Ryan McSpadden. This is, how should I approach a first call with him? Right? I'm trying to keep AI in the forefront of every conversation I have. Maybe I'm over rotating like I did with that
a little
dude.
bit. Yeah.
But I think it's true. Like our younger and career people are more astute on the AI piece. Use it to do what we're talking about, which is networking to people that care and that can help you.
Yep.
And, the follow-up AI, Billy, what does a follow-up look like to Ryan McSpadden based on this conversation?
Yep.
And these are things we've never had access to. We'd actually had to use our brains,
right?
But we use the technology and the good follow-up skills to be a good mentee.
Yep.
Well, the only other thing I think, besides mentoring, the younger generation, I do feel like for me, I mix and match mentorship with networking because I love sitting down with other business leaders outside of my industry because you learn so much. So like going to have coffee on a Saturday, sitting with a group of sales leaders from different industries, or Scotty and I are always bouncing ideas and sharing things about challenges we've had, things that are working, things that aren't working, putting together your 2026 strategy plan and what are some things you're doing different? How are you incorporating things like AI into your plan? And so I do think it's having that attitude of wanting to continuously learn and get better and keeping sharp because the world evolves, and how I led 5 years ago, 10 years ago is so different than today.
So
in
different.
2 years, I'll be leading very different than I'm leading right now. That's just how it goes. But not everybody is always as intentional with trying to do that. And you're one of those guys, you're just so driven. You just see it. You're driven with everything you do. And I love it. It's inspiring. Maybe touch a little bit on the business entrepreneur piece. And we haven't heard you talk a lot about maybe who are those people that have stood out to you, that have helped you in your life. So maybe it's on the business entrepreneur piece, but who have been those mentors and people that have had a positive impact on you?
Yeah, I was super fortunate in 2005. My dad in Kansas City had purchased a franchise called 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and I was fortunate enough to purchase it as well in Chicago. And that business grew, and we had it for 15 years and sold it in 2019, which was, super grateful and a huge blessing for that. My dad and grandpa were both early mentors for me. I always like to say my high school basketball coach was an early mentor for me because I would have if he would have told me to eat the basketball, I would have popped it and cut it. I so wanted to impress him and be a great basketball player for him. He was an early mentor for me. I think Tim Murray, my boss, when I started at United Sports all the way through Feld Entertainment, was a huge mentor for me. Charlie Besser, the current owner of Intersport's been a great mentor for me. Mike Polisky, great mentor for me. And Brian Scudamore, the guy that founded 1-800-GOT-JUNK, just his vision and how he built that company into, it's going to be $1 billion brand here soon. Has been a really good mentor for me. So I've had some good mentors.
Dude, that's awesome. You got an army of people.
Yeah,
so you
totally.
can see how important it is to constantly network and have these people in your lives. So hey, before we wrap, because we want to maybe just hear your quick Notre Dame football story, if you don't mind sharing that. I just thought it was such a cool experience, and then we got to close out with maybe some advice you'd give back, to our listeners.
No, I just wanted to make sure I think a cool part of what makes Ryan who he is his love and passion for coaching.
Yes.
Right. So I just wanted to hit that eventually, but let's
close out with that.
No, I think, I told you I wanted to go into sports. I probably missed my calling of being a coach, and being a sports coach in some way, shape, or form. I think I would have been a really good high school basketball coach or baseball coach or football coach or something. But I know that probably didn't hit the financial trajectories that I was also looking for. And so I found business coaching a really great substitute. And so although I didn't get to coach a lot, you don't get to coach a lot early in your career because you're just trying to figure out your way. I knew deep down inside I wanted to lead a team. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be able to coach on a daily basis. So I think one of them, sure, I can make sales calls, and sure, I can go out and do pitches and sell sponsorships and do all those things. But I truly get the joy of my job, having these 24 people on my team and coaching them to be better humans coaching them to be grateful and coaching them to live out their dreams through the APP and through our jobs. And so that's been a huge passion for me. And I'm on the tail end of my career, obviously. I've probably got 5 or 10 years left.
Amen, Rhino.
Hopefully 5. But that is a huge passion point for me.
Yeah, and I know I've coached with Ryan for many, many moons, and we just had a freaking blast.
Oh my God, the
and
best.
I think about, our listeners out there, a lot of them are athletes or have become athletes. And then, we're kind of focused on young and career, but we're also focused on younger and career leaders too. And I think about what you say about coaches and coaching in general. Great salesperson doesn't necessarily make a great sales leader unless they're passionate about coaching, right? So this could be a whole nother segment, but any advice for our listeners out there as it relates to you're in sales, you want to go to leadership, how do you connect coaching as a success criteria to be a great sales leader?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question because you're right. Just because you're great at sales doesn't mean you're going to be a great sales leader. And I've been in my career, I've seen so many great salespeople that you wouldn't put leading the group. And I don't know, I still don't know if it's a learned skill, if it's an innate skill, if you're born with it, if you can learn it. There are some people that you look at and they're just like, they probably shouldn't be leading a group. And I think there's some people that you look at and you're like, I'd follow them anywhere, male or female. So what do you guys think? Is it a learned or is it a acquired? Is it born?
I happen to think it is a combination. It really is. But, I won't call this gentleman out, although I'd like to.
Okay.
Still know him today.
Okay.
Talk to him frequently. But we gave him an opportunity to be a leader. And he was so skilled at taking care of his own backyard, at pursuing his clients, as having these relationships that were next level. But he just driving these numbers, like, okay, the natural progression is to put him in as a leader. We put him in, and he was horrendous. Why? Because he wasn't passionate about coaching. And although I tried to work with him, part of the learn piece, he just couldn't get out of his own way. He was kind of selfish. And that's okay. Like a lot of great salespeople are selfish because they're money motivated. And they're really good at it. And we need those people, by the way, on our teams, and it just, I pulled him aside. I said, but this is obviously not working. He agreed. And he was so relieved to go back to carrying a bag.
Right.
So.
Yeah. What do you think, Billy?
I agree. I think it's a combo, but I think it can be learned. But if you don't have the passion behind it, it's going to be a failed experiment. I've got, there's a few leaders I can think of in my world, that were just natural, gifted leaders, easy to see the talent, easy to promote them and watch them go and grow. Others maybe not as easy as a decision. There's one individual I can think of who I wasn't quite sure, but they really wanted to move into leadership. They were doing really well, gave them a shot, blew me away. Like just figured it out.
Amazing.
Phenomenal, strong leader.
It's awesome.
Someone else that seemed like a great natural leader, got in the role, expected everyone to do everything the way they did as a seller, didn't really adapt style to different personalities, struggled big time in the role, wasn't really able to find a way to connect with the team. And so I just think no different than what we say about customers. How do you win the hearts and minds of people if you genuinely care about them, care about their business, and you're trying to help them win, right? They're gonna buy in. If you care about them as human beings, right? It's how you win their hearts.
Yep.
And that relationship works. When you have people that just don't get that, it's never going to be a good fit.
Just to, again, this could be a whole new segment, but it's incumbent, I think, on leaders, whoever's listening that happens to be a leader, to give hypos the opportunity to lead. And that was on me. It was a miss on my part. I didn't give this individual an at-bat, right? As he's kind of a hypo salesperson, to give him an opportunity to, what does it feel like to have, when it's not all about you? Mm-hmm. So I dropped the ball. I just promoted him, and then I just watched him do what he's, and I was like, damn, that was a miss. So ever since then, for our listeners out there that happen to be salespeople that aspire to be leaders, go to your leader and say, hey, I know you got a project. Maybe it's AI, Billy. and say, hey, let me be the AI guy. Right. Or let me take on the special
AI Scotty.
Let me take on this special project for you. And maybe you as a hypo seller are going to find out the easy way, which is, hey, I'm definitely built for this and I got metrics to prove it. Or, man, it's too complicated dealing with other people's problems, which the three of us, right, need to get really good at or have been good at for years, or else we wouldn't stay as leaders. So that's my 2 cents.
I do think there's ownership, though, for us. If we're promoting someone, you're putting someone in that position, you've got to pour into them.
Yep.
But as I always say, you've got to own your own development. Because I can't expect whoever gives me that opportunity that they're going to embrace me and help me all. I've got to drive that. I do think you have to drive your own development. But if you do it and you're reaching out to people, they will. Most cases they're going to pour into you. And so I think you got to do both. But all right, final advice to our listeners, and we'll wrap it up.
Number 1, be grateful for the opportunities that you have in the life that you live. I think that's number 1. Number 2, be kind. Just be a good person. 3, pressure is a privilege. And in sales, the pressure is on us. The pressure is on you to deliver for your organization. But that is a privilege. And I tell our salespeople all the time, there's not a lot of people doing this because it's really hard. And that's kind of why I want to do it, because it's really hard. So enjoy that and be super grateful that you're in that position. And I'm super grateful to be here with both of you guys.
Did you crush it? That was awesome.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks for coming, Rhino.
Yeah.
Best of luck on the move, my friend.
Thank you. I'm going to miss you guys.
You'll be missed. Oh, we're going to follow you. We're not too far away.
Yeah, you guys will be close. I'll see you and Lawrence a lot.
That's right.
And you're going to see me partying pretty good with you tomorrow night.
Yes, you are.
Okay, my friend?
With a cigar.
With whatever it takes.
And
I'll just
beer in hand.
I'll just keep drinking my Topo Chico.
Yeah.
So
right,
thank you,
great
Rhino.
seeing you.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
it. Thanks for
Have a
having me.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
See you, everyone.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Goat's Gravy. We've shared some awesome insights and strategies aimed at enhancing your journey in sales. And the conversation does not have to stop here. So be sure to follow us on social media at the Goat's Gravy and explore more at thegoatsgravy.com. Your journey towards sales mastery is ongoing, and we're here to support you at every step. So thank you for tuning in today. Stay curious, stay driven, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.